Greetings, everyone. I'm glad to be giving you more information about the little steps that you can follow to foster better growth and development in your child. Now, in this video, we will be talking about discipline and liberty. In fact, we will be connecting the dots of discipline, immobility, and the role of a teacher or an educator. Now, let me begin with a very small story. This story is a part of a novel called My Millionaire Uncle, and it is about a little boy called Fufu. He's been a very mischievous boy. He is so mischievous that he has disturbed the peace of an entire city. And the only solution, or the final, very, very desperate resort, was to put him in a school. And finally, he lands in a school. And one fine afternoon, when he sits for lunch, accidentally he looks at a very small girl, probably of his own age. Her name is Fufetta. So he witnesses that she has been sobbing for a very long time and she is desperate for food. She's been very hunger. So once he witnessed this, he takes his lunch basket. He does not say even a word, puts his lunch basket on her lap and withdraws. Probably a few steps, 2 to 3 steps back, he stands, putting his head down and bursting into tears. He himself was not able to understand why he bursted into tears. But as he was not able to control his emotions, he felt ashamed on one side, and on the other side, there is a sense or probably an instinct inside him which said, it is not good for you to eat when someone near you is so hungry. But he was not able to describe it in words, nor he was able to realize it. All he could do was just cover up his face with his arms. Looking at all this, little Fufetta, with her two gentle eyes filled with tears for the act of kindness that was given to her, runs up to him, saying, "Don't cry, Fufu." She also had to say only that much. She withdrew his arms from his face and wiped his tears and gently kissed him on his cheek. This had given him some peace. Little Fufu stopped crying. He used his sleeves to wipe his face and he returned back to serenity and kissed her back on the cheek. Now, look at this act, which happened in probably, say, a few minutes of time. There is a sense of kindness, there is an act of kindness which has lit up this young, rebellious mind who was so brutal to so many people, but it popped all of a sudden. He never knew what made him do that, but the very sight of two gentle eyes filled with tears just because of his act of kindness had made him outburst into tears. So, this is the kind of evolution that happens in the inner soul of every little child. So, what do we do as parents or as educators? We allow them to move. We allow them to demonstrate their inner self, either in the form of words or actions, or even by physical movements. But the story does not end there. What happens is the guardian who is on rounds sees the sight of these two children and he calls out very loudly in a very bold and assertive tone as if they were fighting, asking them to get inside the class and it is time for them to be back inside the class. Now, is this kind of a tone addressed to young children at this particular situation right? Probably not. We, as teachers and parents, consider ourselves to be very active. We try to participate and we try to put in our own instructions and our own thoughts to every little act that the child does, which is not right. We have to be very passive. We have to allow them to move, to speak, to show their actions, to demonstrate whatever instincts they have. And they have to be stopped if and only if you find that it could be dangerous either to himself, either to the child himself or to anybody around him. But this guardian, having no clue about the situation, has been so brutal to these young children. Now, she has not been observing the child. She's not taken a minute to pause and listen to them, not to witness what is going on, but she simply wants her own instruction to be followed very quickly. This actually kills the kind of tenderness, the kind of empathizing behavior that the child was demonstrating with the other child. So, what do we say? What do we conclude? Discipline is not about making these children immobile. You don't want your child to move in your class, that is not discipline. You don't want them to talk, that is not discipline. You just want them to listen to you and go along by your words, that is not discipline. Because this nature, the inherent teacher, the realization that this little child has after exploring his own environment, exploring the living and non living beings around him, is going on a path to become independent. He is all set to grow and get accustomed to the social life and not just to your home or probably to your school. So look at his independence and growth in terms of where he has to go and not in terms of his immediate surrounding. So the ultimate conclusion is that we as teachers and parents have to observe these children and intervene and become active only if it is going to become detrimental either to the child himself or to anybody around him. And we have to allow them to exhibit their movements either in school or at home. So, with this information, let me catch up with you with more such stories, more such inferences very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.